It has been a wild few weeks in the market, to say the least. And if you want to get a handle on things, then you have come to the right place. You have found Riz International, and this is your weekly market recap. My name is Chris, and we're going to start off, as we always do, taking a look at the S&P 500. And last week was very active, to say the least. The week before last, rather, we had a really strong push off of 3,900, and there was some questions whether 41 was going to hold. I mean, we pushed up really strong, and then of course we had the long weekend over Memorial Day. So there was a lot of questions going into Tuesday how the market was going to react, and 4,100 has held pretty darn well, if you ask me. We've had multiple attempts at it this week, and we have not been able to breach below it. But the problem is we are currently directionless on the market. Yes, we had this nice push and this nice hold of 3,900 on the S&P 500, and we were able to push back up over 41, but we tried to make a run for 42, and we weren't able to do it. So we're really kind of stuck at this point between this 42 and this 4,100 right now. And the big question going into this week is, are we going to breach one direction or the other? Now, of course, for all of our elite members and those who have been paying attention in webinars, obviously we believe that there is still some more downside in the market. I know that everybody's saying that. Everybody and their brother's saying that. Oh, the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. Well, we're in a downtrend, as you can see, indicated by my lovely blue line here. And, until we break over that, I'm going to continue to say that we are still in a downtrend in the market. But as far as a full-on, recession or bear market, we're not quite there yet on the S&P 500. Obviously here from all-time highs to where we closed on Friday, only down 15% from the highs, and we need to see that blow below 20% and kind of hold down there before we can start saying those scary words that every mainstream media outlet likes to spout about the market when they maybe just like to talk more than they understand. So there is a lot of question, of course, right now, the direction of the market, and anybody who tells you they know which way it's going to go is lying to you. Of course, right now, I told you we have a sentiment towards one side, but we are prepared to trade regardless of what direction the market moves. For all of you who are elite, of course, we have the buy list and how to utilize that list. And I'm hoping that most of our members have done that. We've been giving guidance on, when it's time to jump in certain positions or certain stocks at your discretion. And of course, we're just giving this as, educational and, advice, not necessarily financial suggestions or advice, but just letting you know what we're doing and where we're at. But yeah, very tricky week this week. There really was no direction. When there is no direction, typically the best thing to do is to be a little bit more patient. Now, I feel kind of like a broken record, talking about this, but when you have this, downtrend in the market, you can't necessarily jump on every single opportunity you see, because you're going to get stuck, and then you're going to be sitting there holding the bag for who knows how long until the market gets out of its slump. So we're being very, strategic and, very careful with the trades we place, because we want to make sure that you are, getting yourself into good positions and holding good companies. And, if you do that, holding the bag longer shouldn't be a problem. Taking a look at the breakdown of the S&P 500 here, really not all that much going on, honestly. Energy continues to frickin' steamroll. That's the big thing going on here. Up currently 56% on the year. That's ridiculous. Utilities edged its way up towards around 5%, and everything else is in the red. S&P 500, as we looked at earlier, down about 14% on the year, and everything else is, getting crushed at this point. Real estate and tech are underperforming the market, which of course is below the zero line, and financials and healthcare technically above the market, but still negative on the year. And, we're talking about that energy thing, and I told you back here, I was bullish on oil, and now you see why. Oil making a pretty solid run here towards 120, and I know 120 is Riz's spot where he was looking to maybe look at taking a negative view on the price of oil, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. Yeah. We came up to 120 and we rejected off it. Now, this isn't the first time we've been there. We were here earlier on the 31st. We kind of did the same thing and we pushed back down. But I would say, Thursday and Friday looked a bit stronger, in my opinion, as far as the price of oil, and I honestly could see oil going higher. Will we see 130 this week? I doubt it. That seems to be a pretty tall order. We'd need some sort of a catalyst, but from what I understand, current sitting president is planning on talking to the Saudis to see if they can get OPEC to open up the pipelines a bit to help relieve this incredibly high price of oil, because honestly, I don't think these price points are sustainable for long term. I know we are all hurting at the pump. Lord knows I am. For everyone here, or even anybody watching on YouTube, go ahead and type down in the comments section what price of gas is in your area. It's about $4.89 per gallon here in Indiana, where I live. If anybody's here on the chat wants to throw it in there in the chat on the live webinar, feel free to throw it in there and let us know what you guys are paying at the pump. Gold, uneventful, nothing really to talk about. I told you guys the last time we pushed out of here in March and we came right back into this channel, and looky there, we're doing the exact same thing. We pushed out of it here a little bit in April, and now we're back in. Gold trading absolutely sideways at this point. There's nothing there that we're really interested in at this point. And honestly, Bitcoin is doing the exact same thing. After the rejection of 40,000 here in May, we came down to 30,000, and then that's just where we're sitting. Yes, we've had moves below and above a little bit, but we haven't even made it back to 35,000 yet. Bitcoin in a massive downtrend right now from the highs back here in November of 21. And we haven't broken that downtrend yet. So, but right now, Bitcoin is just trading sideways. It's hugging this 30,000, holding on for dear life at this point, and it doesn't want to let go. So, we're not really interested in taking a trade in crypto right now. We've talked about this before on the show, but if you do, just be careful and take your profits when you get them. Now, I mentioned Riz taking a not necessarily positive look on oil, and we actually took 2 short trades this week, and it's been a long time since we've shorted anything in Elite, for those of you who've been paying attention. It looks like we got in on the 31st, which would have been Tuesday if memory serves properly, in at 87.60. We closed this short fairly quickly. Got in again on Friday. That one's a bit in the red. We are still holding on to that one as it's sitting right around our stop loss for this short. Kind of want to see what happens on Monday as far as that's concerned. And just kind of keeping an eye on it. But U.S. oil, the United States Oil Fund, USO, one way you can trade oil without having to do anything crazy with commodities or things like that. Of course, we are also, looking at doing short puts, which is a strategy that Riz uses to, make money in any market, essentially. And it is definitely something you can do if you have the funds to do so in your account. Ooh, Australia paying $5.15 per gallon for E10 petrol here. Oof, Liam, that's rough. I have a feeling that we're going to be breaking 5 here in my area fairly soon. So, I'm kind of right there with you, brother. So I get that. But want to go ahead and open it up now to everybody here on the live call for questions, things that you want to know, talk about trading and things like that, and what we're looking at. We've got 2.2 euros per liter in Greece. So let's see, that's, okay, mental math here. So that's about 460 per gallon, if my memory is serving me correctly. So yeah, that's about what I'm paying. But yeah, that's still, it's rough. But then, of course, that would be 460 euros per gallon. The euro is stronger than the US dollar, so there's that as well. So, okay, let's do that. Okay, so I calculated about 460. So yeah, right around $5 per gallon, so just about the same. But yeah, it's rough. Price of gas and oil and anything related to fossil fuels right now is just going crazy, and man, look at it go. USO is showing us that it is very difficult right now, especially with the price of energy, things like that. We see here energy stocks going absolutely nuts right now. And the price of oil is definitely behind that, and it's something we're keeping an eye on. Now, of course, if we see, further escalation in the conflict in Eastern Europe, then obviously that will, I don't want to say it'll negatively affect the price of oil, but not in the way that you want it to go. Let me put it that way. And there's been a lot of posturing as far as that's concerned here over the last couple days. Different packages that the United States is looking to send overseas, and retorts from Russians at this point. So there's definitely a lot going on over there, and I think the world is watching that. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting and seeing. Of course, there was the talk of the embargo on Russian oil in the EU, which will obviously, of course, negatively affect the price of oil as well for us normal folk who have to pay to fill up their tanks. So I feel you. That's all I'm going to say. I'm right there with you guys on how that's going. It's very frustrating, of course. And of course, our hearts go out to everyone involved in that conflict. We hope for a quick resolution and for peace to come back to the region, myself especially, since I have special ties there, to say the least. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, and so I promised you it'd be a quick one. I really appreciate everybody coming out this evening. Our advice, as far as going into this week, let's bring back the S&P 500 here, is this is kind of a wait and see moment right now for the market. If we can continue to push over 42 and make a run towards 43, that's definitely a positive sign as far as the market conditions and things like that, especially if we can push through this 50 moving average without too much resistance and make that run through 43. Then I think we'll be looking a lot more positive, a more positive outlook on the market. But if we continue to, or rather should I say, if we return back down closer to this 39 area, that's definitely a negative sign. Things are not looking good, especially if we can break below 38. 38 was strong, very, very strong last time we came anywhere close to it. Huge amount of buying pressure here on the 20th of May. And, I honestly thought it was going to break 38 on the 20th when I was watching this happen. But huge amounts of buying pressure down here, a lot of buying the dip. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. We got a comment said, nothing really to trade, just kind of waiting for the market to pick a side. And that's the tricky part right now. And this is the one thing I think, as far as being a trader and understanding how to properly trade, sometimes the winning move is not to play. That's from a famous line from it's a movie called War Games back in the 80s. I remember watching that when I was a kid. And it talked about, of all things, nuclear war. But in this case, sometimes when the market can't pick a direction, the right thing to do is just to hang tough and be ready to go. The time to get in was down here when we alerted it. And if you were an elite, we alerted this, that it was time to go to start getting in on some of those stocks that we cued you guys in on. And if you were doing that, you should be green at this point. We also advise you to start taking profits because we're not sure what the market is going to do here. So be very, very careful. If you do have positions in the green, don't be scared to take them off and collect your profits. No one ever lost money by taking profits. I've said that before. I'll keep saying it because especially in times like this where there is a lot of question as far as what's happening in the market, where we're going, what direction it wants to go. It's very tempting, of course, to be like, to have this mental bias saying, oh yeah, the market's going to go up. We've got this. Now that people aren't talking in the news as much about things going on in Eastern Europe. Well, now it's time to get back in because the market's going to start going back up, and then you get an inflation print or something like that, and it slaps the market back down. So we kind of got to figure out what direction the market wants to go at this point before we go ahead and start really, going in full force with our positions. Of course, you got to make your own decisions as far as when you trade and when you get out. We only do our best only to provide you as much guidance as we possibly can. As always, don't hesitate, for all of our elite members who are watching the replay on this, don't hesitate to hit us up in Discord. We're more than happy to answer all your questions. Just tag us in the main elite chat. And if you're not a member of Riz Elite, well, you kind of missed out. We had open enrollment available, and I don't think we're going to open that back up again until the fall. So make sure you keep an eye on this YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure you click that like and subscribe button, and we will catch you in Discord on Monday. Good night, everybody.